Hey everyone, as promised, today I'm going to talk about the alternative online jobs for call center agents who want to quit. I'm going to categorize them into three. Jobs that require a degree, that don't require a degree, and jobs that don't require a degree, but it'd be easier if you have one. Let's start with the jobs where you don't need a degree. The first one is general virtual assistant. Just think of a general VA as a typical secretary. You're performing organizational tasks to make it easier for your client to navigate his life and business. Most of these tasks involve managing calendars and appointments, managing social media, research, data entry, travel bookings, email management, booking appointments with clients, following up with clients and customers, lead generation, receptionist duties, file management using Dropbox and Google Drive, and more. Usually what happens when you're a general VA is you tend to be a jack of all trades, master of none. Meaning you perform numerous simple tasks, but you're never really diving deep into each task. You're sort of just skimming. As a result, you end up not having a specialty. This does not always have to be the case. You do have the option to specialize and focus on the skills that you think you could excel at. And this is number two, being an Amazon VA. Being an Amazon VA is different from being a general VA because you're only gonna perform Amazon related tasks. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Amazon.com. It's like Shopee and Lazada in the Philippines, but bigger because it's in the United States. The usual tasks of an Amazon VA are product listings, product research, managing inventories, tracking shipments, and more. So being an Amazon VA is a niche because you have one specialty, and that is to focus on your client's Amazon store. And you might think that it's easy because the tasks aren't as numerous as the general VAs, but it's anything but. You'll learn that when you start diving into things get more and more complicated and more difficult. So getting into a niche does not necessarily mean that the tasks are going to be easier for you because you're only going to be focusing on one thing. The good thing about having a specialty in a saturated job market is that you tend to get paid higher because not a lot of people can do what you can do. So the more niche down it is, the lesser the competition and the more money. And the good thing about being an Amazon VA is once you get good at it and you start earning money from your salary, you can even begin to become an Amazon seller yourself, and you'll be the one hiring in the future. So there's always something to strive for. And the next one is real estate VA. Being a real estate VA means that you're going to be assisting a client who is a real estate agent, selling houses and lands. Your usual task would be uploading and managing property listings, doing research on properties like rental history information for tenants, property maintenance, processing rental applications, and lease renewals. In some cases, you're also going to be expected to do some photo enhancements, graphic design, newsletters, social media. You don't necessarily have to do all these. It depends on the needs of your clients and your skills. But the more you can do each of these things excellently, the higher your salary could get. The good thing about this is, again, you don't need a degree to learn this. It's going to be quite complex at first, but because you're going to have to learn the real estate regulations of the country where your client is. But once you know the ins and outs of the real estate of that country, it's not going to be much of a problem to find clients. There's a learning curve, but nothing that you can't really learn from scratch. And the next one is a podcast VA. So we all know what a podcast is. The goal of a podcast VA is to increase the downloads of his client's podcast and help with the pre and post production. That's basically it. But it involves a lot of skills and tasks. And they're the following. For pre-production, you're going to be scripting the podcast, guest outreach, research on the guest, create spreadsheet of all podcasts, and then you have to help with the post-production, which means you have to ensure the files are in place for the audio team to do the work. You need to find the meaty parts that'll be used in a podcast, extract key information and repurpose them as a marketing message or a social post, and just making everything organized and moving along for publishing. And then you have to do the publishing, and then there's the promotion, the email marketing, social media, giving clients some talking points, And lastly, guest follow-up. You have to contact the podcast guest and send the podcast link, send a thank you, gift card, coffee mugs. It's endless. Being a podcast VA is not just performing simple tasks, but it's also about having initiative, because there's a lot of things that you can do for your clients to promote his or her brand as a content creator. And the next one is being a social media manager. Now you might ask, why would someone want to hire a social media manager when she could hire a general VA and just tell her to post on social media and promote the brand? Well, being just a social media manager performs a lot of things, specific things that a general social media posting just doesn't do. A good social media manager has to have knowledge about graphic design, have to have some marketing skills to increase followers, has to know how to create and oversee social campaigns, manage analytics. Analytics alone is a very complex task because you have to be updated with the trends and the algorithm of each social media platform. So if it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, each has different algorithms. Again, once you start diving deeper, everything gets more and more complex. So for clients who need just a good social media manager, it's probably better to hire someone with a specialty on this than just a general VA. You also have to know what engages people. You have to know how to write enticing titles. You have to know the ins and outs of social media platforms you're specializing in. And some social media managers even have a specialty. For example, I saw one who specialized on clients who have fashion websites, women fashion websites on Pinterest, just on Pinterest, and the niche is women's fashion. So that's a pretty niche down social media manager, but they still find clients. And the next one is content creation. I would consider this as more of a business than a job, because you're basically hiring yourself and you're doing the task yourself without getting paid a salary. But I'm including this because if you like the content that you're putting out there, this could be a very good alternative source of income for call center agents. What I usually recommend is to create contents that are informational. Think about a topic that you know more than the average person and then create informational content about it. Anticipate the question that people would have about a certain topic and then answer them in a very detailed manner in a form of an article or in a form of a video, like in YouTube, like what I'm doing. If you're not comfortable showing your face, then you can just create channels where you just have to narrate and show stock videos. If you're not comfortable narrating, you can write. You don't have to be an author. You just have to be able to write to be understood, because you're going to be creating informational content. Or if you have the personality for it, you can create a lifestyle vlog where people are interested in you as a person. So when you're creating content, you make money from ads, from sponsors, or you're making money from courses. There's a lot of possibilities that you could explore. And the good thing about exploring content creation is even if you don't end up being a content creator yourself, you end up acquiring skills that you wouldn't have otherwise acquired had you not tried to become a content creator. And this brings me to number 7, and that is to become a blog or a vlog VA. This means that instead of being the content creator yourself, you're going to be a VA of a content creator. So depending on the needs of that content creator, you're going to be performing tasks like delegating, writing tasks. You could be creating thumbnails and featured images, writing descriptions, helping create enticing titles, becoming also a social media manager. You could be researching keywords, writing content for the website, and writing YouTube scripts. It really depends on the needs of the content creator, which is going to be your client. Now, number 8 would be being a video editor for a busy content creator. For this one, you have to have a really good grasp of what makes people stay longer in a video. Aside from knowing how to use specific video editing tools. You also have to have a decent level of graphic knowledge design. You have to know what looks good on the screen, and this is a skill that you can learn separately. Now, let's get to the jobs where you don't necessarily have to have a degree, but it would be easier if you have. To thrive, you have to have a genuine interest in the field, and you have to love what you do in order to be willing to spend countless hours to hone your skills. Otherwise, it'd be better if you have a related degree. And the first one is web development. If you're in web development, you could be a front-end developer or a back-end developer. So a front-end developer, which is also called a digital designer, is responsible for a website's look and feel. They should have skills in design, art, and coding, as well as an understanding of best practices of user interfaces, which means they strategically design a site that's intuitive and easy to navigate. So the back-end developer codes the design plans and blueprints drafted by the front-end developer and lays the foundation to ensure that there's a functional, sound structure in place. It's kind of like an engineer and an architect. The architect would be the front-end web developer, and then the engineer is the back-end developer. And the next one is copywriting and proofreading. This is great if you have a background in writing, like journalism, because you already have a good understanding of what makes a piece of writing good. What you do when copywriting and proofreading is you write copies for brands and proofread articles for grammar mistakes. So if you already have a background in writing in college, this is a great job to explore. The next one is graphic design. Graphic design, you don't necessarily have to have a degree in graphic design in order to earn. You can use softwares like Canva and watch YouTube videos to learn what makes photos look good, but it would be a real advantage if you do have a degree related to graphic design. It's the difference between an amateur and a pro. But it doesn't mean that just because you didn't go to a graphic design school doesn't mean you can't earn being a graphic designer. You can, but you'd have to be really interested in graphic design, and you would have to have a sort of talent. The salary depends on your level of expertise. So if you're just gonna create YouTube thumbnails, well, you don't have to have a graphic design degree. But if you're gonna be creating logos, you're gonna be creating graphics for brands, then you probably need a graphic design degree for that. So it depends, because it's a range from simple to complex tasks. Depending on the hours you spend learning that skill, you can be here, you can be here, you can be in the middle. Depends. What you need to do is you basically should know the principles of aesthetics. If you're self-taught, you can already start learning how to use Canva, or if you want to take it a notch higher, you can learn Photoshop. And if you're really advanced and you have a graphic design degree, you can earn money designing conceptual logos. So these are the jobs that you won't learn without having any related degree. This is the path of least resistance for agents who already have a degree related to these jobs. For example, accounting and bookkeeping. I think that a client would be more comfortable hiring someone who has background in accounting and bookkeeping than someone who just learned it from the internet. And the next one is being a medical transcriptionist. So being a transcriptionist, obviously, you can't just delegate this to someone who doesn't have a background in medicine or in nursing. So this is something that nursing graduates could really explore. Another thing is architectural jobs. I've seen online that architects make money by designing house plans. So if you have a background in architecture, this could be something that you can probably explore as a side income and see what it brings to you. So that is it for the list of jobs that you can explore if you are thinking of quitting the call center industry. I know that this barely scratches the surface. There's a lot of jobs that you can explore. So what I recommend you to do is to explore YouTube. First of all, you think about the background you have in college. If you managed to finish a degree that could be the path of least resistance, and try exploring jobs related to that degree. But if you also have talents that you want to explore while working as an agent, then that could be an option. Take advantage of the power of the internet. Start searching for people who are experts in the field that you want to be in, and start learning the skills. This is an encouragement to spend your free time looking for people that you can emulate and learn something from. Another thing is marketing also plays a huge role of getting clients. I think whatever you do, whatever field you want to be in, you want to learn how to market to clients. Because at the end of the day, you could have really excellent skills, but if you don't know how to market, you don't know how to entice clients, then you might not get the salary that you deserve. I'm creating this so that you would have a good starting point. All right, that's all for me for today. Thank you so much for watching.